Hello everybody, it's Wendy with Crooked House Herbals, and I am here to talk to you tonight about whatever you want to talk about. First of all, let's do a sound check. If you're there, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me well enough? If not, I need to turn something up. I have a new case on my device, and sometimes it doesn't, it pushes buttons for me, so I want to make sure you can hear me okay. I am I'm kind of excited about this one tonight. I have something I want to talk to you about a little bit. Hey Mandy. And then I'm going to open it up for you guys to ask questions, okay? And we're going to talk about it and see if we can find good answers. My name is Wendy Fargo. I am a master herbalist and an educator. I live in Arkansas, and I love what I do. I am the founder of Crooked House Herbals, which is a organically grown and original formula herbal outlet. I grow all my own herbs, I make all my own formulas, and I do have a very good website. It's www.crookedhouseherbals.com, and you can check that out at your leisure. I do have a full line of products. I also have lots of other offerings, educational opportunities, and things like that. Hi, Ty. Okay. Tonight's post is going to be a little different than the others because it's your time to ask questions and engage in conversation about whatever you want to talk about. Maybe things you want to know more about, or just explore. I would like to act more as a mediator as things get going and be able to even, facilitate some interaction if that's what happens. While we're waiting for questions to come in and for people to get on, I had a couple of things that might provoke some interesting conversation and maybe get your wheels turning a little bit that I thought I would throw out for you. I've been thinking a lot this week about some things, some what-if scenarios. And it led me to the big question, do you really need this? Of course, this question can be asked about a lot of different things. It can be asked on, on different planes of life, economics, health, relationships, but I want to focus on health issues tonight. Let's just say that one day you wake up and for some reason you are not able to go to the store and buy your prescription medicines or your over-the-counter meds or your supplies or sundry items that you usually get from Walmart or Walgreens or wherever. And let's say that that option doesn't look like it's going to be possible. It may be extended for quite some time. What would you do? What would you do if you couldn't have your sleep pills or your allergy pills or your big bottle of ibuprofen or your Tums or your, what would you do? Your eye drops, your nose spray? What if you couldn't go to the store and get it? What would happen to you? How would you deal with it? Do you remember a few weeks back when I talked to you about creating crutches that your body begins to depend upon instead of operating like it's designed to operate? I think I used the illustration of acid reflux and heartburn. And I was talking about, how if you keep taking Tums, you keep telling your body, you have created a crutch for your body, and you keep, it's like a false sense of wellness. And so you're telling your body it doesn't have to produce hydrochloric acid. It's okay, I got this, because I'm giving it to you. I'm pouring it into you with Tums. Well, eventually, your body stops producing it altogether. It says, well, we don't need to do that anymore. So when you kind of spread that out across many other things that are going on in our lives today. You can see that same premise in several other things. Our economy, for one. You know, we create false economies by telling our, you know, our people that we have things we don't have, and creating a false sense of security. Well, we do the same thing with our bodies, and we've been doing it. So, I will just answer that question right now. Amanda says she can't find vitamin C at all in the stores. Go find some pine trees and get your pine needles and make your pine needle tea. It's got 5 times the vitamin C of a glass of orange juice. And it goes straight into your body. You don't have to break down a tablet. You don't have any leftovers that don't get assimilated, lodging in your body. Just pine needle tea. And it's good. You can add mint to it, or lemon, or honey. But just drink 2 or 3 cups of pine needle tea a day, and you will be amazed. That is a good dose of vitamin C. So there are a few pine trees that are not the good kind, but they're mostly on the west coast, northwest pines. Google it, because we've talked about it before, or go back and get the documents from previous sessions that we've done, because I know that stuff is in there about pine needle tea, and it lists the trees that are not good for you to use. But Florida, which is where you are, you've got good trees out there, and you just need to get yourself a good little source of pine needles from somewhere, and start drinking pine needle tea if you can't find vitamin C in the store. So I hope that helps. But anyway, we were talking about the acid reflux issue. Well, I also told you that if you were to replace the Tums with apple cider vinegar and honey in the morning, and you did that for 7 to 10 days, your acid reflux would be gone. In most people, it's gone. You don't have heartburn, and you don't have that issue anymore. Your body, that's how quickly your body can reset and get back on track with something like that. So I am of the opinion that there is a natural answer. There's always 2 ends to the stick, right? And there is a natural answer to our physical afflictions, whatever they are. Some of them are self-induced, and some of them aren't. But either way, our body knows how to heal itself. And if you will take the time to get to know your body, and to listen to your body, and then seek out the natural tools to give your body, you'll be surprised. Not only will it recover, but it will heal. And you'll be better than you were before you started. I'm living proof. You know, I am. Those of you that know my story, you know, every year I get older, and I'm very healthy, very healthy. So that's something I want you to think about. So let's take the easy stuff first. Does anybody have any questions so far? Have we gotten anything up here yet? Let's see. Tina said sleep meds would be the worst. I'm going to address that real quick. Okay, what is a good holistic substitute for aspirin? I'll tell you right off the bat. Willow bark. Willow bark tincture, which you can get from me, or you can get anywhere. But willow bark is the natural source for aspirin. It is salicylic acid. It's just hasn't been buffered, and it hasn't been coated, and it hasn't been processed. It comes straight off the bark, and I make it into a tincture. So it will do the same things as aspirin. It's a good analgesic, it's a good pain reliever, it's a good blood thinner. It'll do all the same things, and you will get a measure of results according to how much you take. So hopefully that answers your question there. Let's see if we have any others yet. Oopsie, rats. Okay, hang on. I'm doing it this way. Good to know. Okay. Does it store well? Yes. If you use Anna grain alcohol and you make it with that, it'll store for up to 2 years. No problem. So that would be my recommendation, just so that you have it when you need it and you don't have to whip some out. I can make capsules that can be a special order. It would be the same price as the tincture, but you will just have to, I can't just pull that off my shelf. I would have to grind them up and make them for you. So if you would prefer willow bark capsules, yes, I can make them. It's a good one, and if you can, you know, some people can't tolerate aspirin, but that is my go-to thing. That's the first thing I try if I'm having especially a migraine, or, you know, that kind of a headache, or lower back pain or something like that. The willow bark works really well, and I will use that first. If it's something that just seems to be, you know, not letting up, or if maybe it's some other kind of different kind of pain, so then I will usually go to something like wild lettuce or kava. Both of those are good. So let's say that you have to take an allergy pill every day. You've just gotten yourself used to that. That's what your body needs. It's not going to work right. You know that if you don't take your allergy pill, you're going to be a mess, and you have to go to work. And these are all the things. I'm not dismissing where you're at with this stuff, because we have all done that, you know. But what I'm saying is, in all reality, folks, if you wake up tomorrow, or a week from now, or a month from now, and for some reason you can't get this stuff, maybe your store isn't even open. There are some states watching me right now that don't have stores open. And even though essential stores are supposed to be open, the ones that are don't have anything in them. Not even vitamin C. Okay? So, say that happens and you can't get to your allergy pill. What are you going to do? What is the first step? What would be the first thing you would do to get your body on track? Now realize, this is the whole reason you take an allergy pill, is because you want an instant effect. You want to be in 30 minutes able to breathe, not sneezing, or whatever, you know, your symptoms are, and you want to be able to get in your car and go to work. Okay? Well, since a lot of people aren't working right now, this might be a good time in your life to experiment with, do I really need this? Okay? So you would start first with mega boosting your immune system. Easy. Elderberry syrup, garlics, onion, cayenne pepper, apple cider vinegar. Apples oxygenate your blood. Apples are one of the best things you can eat. Raw local honey, bee pollen. Okay? Those are all things that you could consume and start to boost your immune system just right off the bat. Other things, you know, is it gonna fix you in 30 minutes? Nope, not gonna do it. Your body has literally become addicted to this medicine. So the same thing has happened that happened with the acid reflux hydrochloric acid thing. You're gonna have to undo that. You're gonna have to give your body a little time, which means you might want to try this on the weekend, get started there, and not on Monday morning. You know, unless you're not going to work. And then it doesn't really matter, does it? We don't even know what day it is half the time anymore. Give your body plenty of natural tools, so that for a long enough period of time, so that it switches tracks, so that it can make the change. Because your body knows what to do. It's just hasn't, you've been giving it false antihistamines, and you've been giving it, you know what I mean? So now you got to pull those crutches out, and you got to give them the natural ones. Tina said that she uses willow bark for her dog. What's wrong with your dog? I mean, for what reason do you give him that? Because that's interesting. Get back to me on that, Tina, okay? Because that's an interesting thing, because I have a cat that could probably benefit from some willow bark. Amanda says that if she asked the question, if you're taking prescribed meds and start taking holistic, will they react? Crystal is a really good example of that, and I'm hoping that at some point she will share her story. She has been working herself off of several medications. I don't know exactly what they all are. I would have to have her post that information if she wants to share it. But my recommendation here is, if it was me, I would, if you're taking a certain number of milligrams of something, prescription, and you have the equivalent of, okay, I'm just going to give the example. If you're taking an antidepressant, okay, and it does this, and this, okay, to your brain and your body, your physiology. Then and then in my case, I have a product called phytosympathy. So phytosympathy is designed to work with it's nervine, but it's also, it works on those same functions in your body as the depression, okay, and a couple other things actually, ADHD, several focusing things, mostly with your brain, Alzheimer's onset, memory issues, that kind of stuff. So what I would do is I would start reducing my prescription med, and keeping track. Okay, if you're going to take 1/4 less of this pill or whatever it is, then you take 1/4 the regular dose of the phytosympathy, and get your balance, and then and see how you are, and how am I doing? How's my body doing? Am I on track? Am I functioning okay? Am I a little of this or a little of that? And you adjust, and then when you feel stable at that particular dosage, reduce the next one a little bit, or the medication a little bit, and increase the phytosympathy that much more, and get your balance again. And this could take 10 days or 2 weeks to get to know where you are, but then you will succeed, and you will be off that prescription med, and you will be introducing the natural herbal version of things into your body. So you say, well, isn't that just changing one for the other? No, because eventually your body will, because these are all natural things, and they'll go through your body, they don't have residual effects, they don't have side effects, they're whole herbs, your body will eventually not even need them, because we get new cells every 11 months. So as your body is regenerating and reviving, you will need less and less of anything. You'll be able to just eventually be completely free of all of those crutches. Is that not awesome? That is a great goal, don't you think? I think it is. I get excited about that. And to this day, I am 60 years old and I don't take any medicine. Nothing. I have no medications. Tina said that she gives willow bark to her dog for arthritis, and apparently it's working. So there you go. That's something else. If you've got an arthritic dog, I have a really good product too that works really well for dogs that are suffering with mobility issues, possibly tumors, or those kinds of painful movements type things. It's called Suma Wrestler. It's got Suma herb in it, and it will help as well. But willow bark, it's a painkiller, so it can help them. Okay, so after you have, so let's talk about some things that you could, some other herbs that you maybe could use if you are trying to get off of allergy medicine. Okay, what about, okay, here's some good ones. Ginger, turmeric, capers, if you like them, thyme, watercress. I love watercress. They're all antihistamines, and they're histamine blockers. So that's the whole point with an allergy pill, is you're blocking histamine. Okay, and these particular herbs are antihistamines. There's some more. Let's see, I listed some more here. Oh yeah, chamomile, jewelweed, stinging nettle, echinacea. They are all antihistamine herbs as well. Ooh, if you love capers, chow down, especially if you've got allergy issues. So take some time to research and experiment with these different antihistamine herbs. And, oh, but I will say this, there is one note I want to say. Pineapple has a high level of histamine, and I love pineapple. So if you are already struggling with that, don't eat too much pineapple. And also strawberries. Strawberries release histamine into your cells. So they're the opposite of a blocker. Okay, so go easy on the strawberries if you have allergies as well. And you know, that's why a lot of people say, oh, I'm allergic to strawberries. Most likely, they're not allergic to strawberries. Most likely, the strawberry is releasing the histamine into their cells and they're having an allergy attack. But it isn't necessarily from the strawberries. It's from the effect of the strawberries. The strawberries release the histamine. So you could have quite a bit of histamine in your system already, and then when you eat the strawberries, it's just released, and it's, you know, it's a free-for-all. So, something to think about. Okay, let's see if anybody else has got. Tina said her dog is 14 years old and has sore joints. And so, Tina, how much of the willow bark are you giving your dog? That's very interesting. I know that people, if you're like me, I like to have the most bang for my buck. So I like to have the tinctures in my cabinet that do more than one thing, you know, that I can use for many different things. So the willow bark is, you know, not only good for people, and like I said, especially headaches, or if you need a good blood thinner and you're looking for something natural, willow bark would work there. Like I said, the only thing is if you have a sensitivity to aspirin already, then this would not be the herb for you, because it's what aspirin is made from. It's salicylic acid. So, let's see. Hey, Pamela, I see you. Okay, can't remember if Crooked House makes antihistamines. I make things that have these antihistamine herbs in them. So, I have several things that have antihistamine in them, including my nose spray. Okay? So you know, and this might be something, if I have enough interest, I will put together an antihistamine product. If everybody, you know, if I have enough people that are interested in that, and, you know, send me a little note and let me know that you would be interested in having an antihistamine, you know, an allergy replacement tincture or capsule. Okay? And I will definitely get that out. I'm doing some work on my website right now anyway, in case you haven't noticed. It's different. Hopefully it's more user-friendly now than it was before. But I am updating, and I've got some product updates to make, and I am certainly willing to put an allergy type pill on, or product on there, if that's what's interesting to those of you. Okay, so let's say you can't buy your sleeping pills. I know a lot of people. Well, there's a couple things. One is a sleeping pill, and the other one is some kind of a laxative. Okay? So, it's like, oh man, if I can't have these things, you know, my body just doesn't. And that's the thing. Our body doesn't work without it, because we've been taking them for so long. And whether, you know, for whatever reason or another, we have been so busy, our lives are so jammed, we don't have time to detox off of our over-the-counter meds. So, okay, Tina said she does 50 milligrams of willow bark for her dog. Do you have a small dog or a big dog? That will make a difference. And I will work out some dosages for animals if anybody is interested in that with my willow bark tincture. So I would like to hear from you on that too, if you are interested in having something like that. And you know, I'll put a little chart up on my site, or I can include it with the product or whatever, if that would help, you know, if that's helpful. 27 pounds. Okay, so a 27-pound dog. All right. we would be interested in an allergy pill replacement as well as allergy eye drops with antihistamine. Okay. Okay, yeah. My eye drops are pretty good already for those of you that use them. I know Pam likes them. But I will break it down so that you guys will know. Now that you have a little bit better list of some herbs that are antihistamine, you can see in my products, oh yeah, this has got this and this in it. That's why, you know, it'll help with my itchy eyes. When my eyes start itching, first thing I do is go put my eye drops in. My eye drops have cayenne pepper in them. So most people go, holy cow! But you can dilute it to a dilution that is usable for you, and but they also have a lot of really good herbs that they don't just feed your eyes and they don't just soothe them, but they shrink swollen tissues and they bring blood to the right places in your eyes, and your eyes really feel good after you use them, and it gets to the point where you just can't wait to put your eye drops in after you cry around a little bit. Okay, Crystal said she needs to get her dog off Prozac. Do you have a supplement that I could give him to help him back off? Personally, I would give my dog a small dosage of phytosympathy. That's what I would do if my dog was on Prozac, which none of my dogs are. And another thing that you might want to consider is kava drops. Kava drops, but they act more like a sedative. The phytosympathy would actually address more of the neurological goings on. Okay? I know that your dog was a rescue and probably has some other issues, and so probably could benefit from the phyto. Okay, willow bark is good for pain and that kind of stuff, but I think I would do phytosympathy for your dog. Small dose and just break it up. And I think that you already have that product, so you might want to start doing the same thing. Just back him down a little bit and give him a little bit of the phyto. Let's talk about sleeping remedies. Okay. Again, you've created a crutch, and for whatever reason, I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not judging here, guys. I'm just saying that your body is a fine-tuned machine. Okay, so if you had a really nice car and you were putting good things into it at the beginning, and then you started like cutting corners with the oil, or you started putting a little different kind of this or that, or maybe an additive, okay? You started giving it an additive that boosted its performance or made it go a few extra miles or whatever. Pretty soon your car would just be expecting that. It would work only with that additive in there, and it's basically the same thing that we do to our bodies. Okay, it just backs off and says, "Oh, I don't need to do that now because it's already there. It's already there." So, taking that away is the equivalent of detoxing. Like going through the DTs. So, you would need to use the same kind of process. You might have a few restless nights until your real body takes over again. A lot of these transformations can be assisted with like a good cleanse or a diet change that might help as well. Some really good herbs though: hops, valerian root, catnip, oat straw. I know you think oat straw, but oat straw is a really good form of calcium, and calcium helps you sleep. It's also good for your bones. Yarrow, passion flower, my personal favorite. Lemon balm regulates your heart rate. Lavender, mugwort, wood betony, bugleweed, all of these herbs help with relaxation and sleep. Kava root is also a really nice sedative. And wild lettuce can be used as well, although I usually reserve that one for pain. But though a lot of those herbs that I just listed are in my Quiet Nights Sleep formula. Now, a lot of times people, I'm going to just say this about that, okay? Here's some other things that you need, some factors that you need to think about if you have sleep issues. Are you getting enough vitamin D from the sun? Do you go outside? Are you inside all the time? Are you in front of a computer all the time? Do you work nights? You know, those kinds of things, because vitamin D from the sun is super important. And it will help with your melatonin production, okay? Which is your sleep hormone. Are you drinking caffeinated beverages after 6 or 7 at night? Because caffeine affects everybody. You say, oh, well, no, caffeine doesn't bother me. But it's because you have built up a tolerance for caffeine. And, you can have this much before you actually start really feeling it. But that doesn't mean they're acting with your regular bodily functions. Do you engage in electronic activities 1.5 to 2 hours before you go to bed? Some people lay in bed and check their Facebook, and then they wonder why their sleep tincture is not working. Okay, you have to stop putting information into your brain and stop. Okay, the only time that your brain processes anything, people, is when you're sleeping. The whole rest of the day, it's taking in information. You are conscious. Okay, when you go unconscious, that's when your subconscious works and all of that information gets processed. If you don't sleep, you're not connecting the dots for your life, for your next day, for anything. That's how it does all its problem solving. That's how you do everything, is when you're sleeping. It's not when you're awake. Your waking hours are for taking it all in. Your sleeping hours are for making sense of it all and making it actually happen. So you need to sleep. But that doesn't mean at the 11th hour you are playing video games or reading crazy stuff on Facebook or even reading a book that's too stimulating. That's not the time to do it. Before you go to bed, you ought to do some kind of relaxation exercises. Watch something. You know what I did the other night? Before I went to bed, I watched 3 episodes of The Golden Girls. Seriously, I usually watch Big Bang, but it wasn't on. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch it. I just like to watch something on television, which is usually the only time I watch TV, is right, at the end of the day, that will make me laugh. And that's totally a no-brainer. Like, I don't have to process this. I'm just enjoying it. It's just funny to me, okay? That's the kind of activity you need to do before you go to bed. That's not when you break out the checkbook and balance your checkbook or have the conversation, the hard talk that you didn't want to have all day with your husband or your wife. You don't do that before you go to bed, okay? This is the time when you back it down and think about what your body's getting ready to do. Because otherwise, throw in everything you can down there, whatever external medication or herbal formula or anything that you put in there is going to come up against resistance because you've got too much going on. So that's on you. That's a habit change. Okay? Have you taken stock of your breathing habits? This is something I realize sometimes. It's like, you know what? I don't even think I've had a deep breath today. I've just done this like shallow survival breathing all day. So those of you that, exercise regularly or whatever, this is probably not speaking to you, but, and I get my fair share of exercise with what I do, but I sometimes just have to spend a little time taking in deep breaths and letting my air out slowly and controlling my breathing. And slowing that down. Deep breathing is an ancient technique for relaxing. It's easy. It doesn't cost anything. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Okay? Or if it's Kundalini, whatever, in through your nose, out through your nose. Unless you have a stuffy nose. So, do you see where I'm going with this? It's like popping a pill to go to sleep is just shortcutting, because you don't want to take the time to interact with your body and allow it to naturally transition to sleep at the end of the day. So I made that quiet night sleep tincture for me because I have a hard time shutting my brain off. And passion flower really helps me. I'll drink a cup of passion flower tea and I go, boom, to sleep. But the tincture will, I would take it and then I'd go wash my face and I would get myself ready for bed, and then I would get in bed and just lay there for a few minutes, maybe set an intention for my sleep, or maybe give some orders to my subconscious. While I'm sleeping tonight, I'd like you to blah, 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 like, dump it. Just dump it. Get it out of your hands, put it somewhere else, and then go to sleep. And I sleep all night when I do that. But sometimes I go to bed having wrung my hands for 20 minutes or 2 hours or tried to solve the world's problems before I went to bed, which is a big mistake. Dumb. So we all have this issue of sleeping, and it's a big one. Okay, any other questions? I'm trying to see. We talked about sleeping meds. We talked about allergies. What else? What else would be a scary one if you couldn't, if you woke up tomorrow and you couldn't buy it? Okay, so what would happen if you couldn't take your handful of ibuprofen every day, or your daily allowance of Aleve? Here's some good pain remedies, okay? Natural things. You've got kava root. It's a sedative. It's a pain reliever. It's good for tension headaches. It's good for neuropathic pain. It's a nervine, okay? Wild lettuce acts like a morphine. It's an excellent pain reliever. Willow bark we've talked about. Headaches, low back pain, osteoarthritis, like Tina's dog. Okay, feverfew, good for RA, good for migraines, toothaches, stomach aches. It's an anti-inflammatory. It's an analgesic. I love feverfew. So pretty. Turmeric. It's good for indigestion. It's good for ulcers, psoriasis, cancer. Another one for osteoarthritis because it's an anti-inflammatory to the max. Clove. Clove is another one of my favorites because it's a broad spectrum herb. It's an antiviral. It's good for headaches. It's good for arthritis. It's great for a toothache. It's good for a topical. It's good for fungal infections. You really can't, and it smells good and it tastes good. So, heat and cold therapy, don't negate that. Rushing the blood in, constricting and expanding the blood vessels. Arnica. Arnica is another really good pain reliever, and it's a good one for dissipating blood pooling. Okay, louder please. All right. What natural remedies to aid in weight loss? Weight loss is, again, kind of a 2- and 3-fold process because it has to do with not only your eating habits, but it has to do with your your activity level. But as far as herbs to help, I would say catnip, I would say mugwort, I would say baby pose, yoga posture, the one where you're down on the floor with your head on the ground, that one. Fig tea is good. Also, Sweet Annie is also really good. It's an antiviral, but it's also good for, curbing your appetite. Tulsi basil, same thing. I personally find that catnip tea works really, really well for me for curbing my appetite, and also the lemongrass and lemongrass is a great one for flushing. So if you drink a lot of lemongrass tea, you will find that you're not hungry and you are flushing toxins, which will help with weight loss. There's a lot of things that help with weight loss, but the key is, how did you get there to begin with? You got to go back to, why am I in this condition? If it is if it's a hormone issue, then we need to talk about herbs that address hormones as well, especially with women. You know, we have our hormones are, throughout our life, we've had like 5 bodies, you know, and our bodies are different at different stages. Mine, it's like I don't even recognize it sometimes. It's like, where did I get this? I've never had this. I don't know where this came from. But I know that it's probably another 5 years from now, it'll probably go away, because I am not doing anything to make it happen. You know, I have good eating habits. I have a good activity level. I'm not overly obsessing with my weight, which can sometimes make weight gain happen even more, because I know that some of you may think I'm nuts, but I'm just going to say it. What you focus on, you manifest. So if you are constantly obsessing with your weight, you will have more weight to worry about. So one of the best things you can do is stop thinking about it. Love your body, enjoy it, be thankful, give it a lot of love. Thank it that your legs work. Thank it that your digestion happens, that you can eat. You know, be grateful for your body and let it off the hook, because the more you obsess about it, the more it will give you more to obsess about. That's the way that works. It's an attraction thing. Okay, so one of the first things you have to do is just let it go and do what you can do, you know, for your body's health, not necessarily for your beautification purposes or, you know, vanity or anything. Make sure that you are treating your body in such a way that it is as healthy as it can be. You're giving it plenty of tools to do its job, and then it will do its job. You will return to your ideal weight. You will be healthy. You will have these things happen. And that's kind of the way I've had to go with my body. I've just had to let it go. And it's like, you know what? I love you. Thank you. I thank you that I can do everything I do, and that I don't have any eating problems, and and I will make sure that instead of grabbing the Tootsie Rolls, I will eat an orange. Okay? And, you know, I make these bargains with my body all the time. It's like, you know, I know that this is what you would prefer, so I'm going to eat this. And drink a lot. Drink more than you normally drink if you're trying to lose weight, because that has a twofold effect. You want to keep flushing the toxins out of your system, because that will help you to change your taste. You'll get to where you don't desire the same types of things. It doesn't sound good to you anymore. You just don't want it. You would rather have the orange, or you're craving, you know, a handful of grapes, you know, or something like that. So keep flushing your body, but it also keeps your tummy full and you don't feel hungry. So you don't have cravings. You know, you're not going, man, I just wish I had, you know, whatever, because make sure that the food that you eat is nutrient dense. You know, lots of good nutrients, because that's where you get satisfaction. If you're eating a lot of junk food, or if you're eating a lot of empty calories, you know, fluffed up carbs, that kind of stuff, it's not going to satisfy you, because it's not nutrient dense and your body isn't getting the nutrition it needs, so it still feels hungry and you will keep eating. And then some of it is just habits. You know, some people just like to have a bag of chips with them when they watch TV at night. So there's that, you know. And again, I am not here to judge. I'm not going to say, I don't know. But I know that in my case, you know, that isn't the case with me, but I still end up with parts of my body that I barely recognize. and I think, I don't know what's going on with this, so I'm just going to ride this wave, and I'll just keep going, and I'm hoping that maybe my body's just going through a phase, and it'll eventually clear out, and I'll have something I recognize back again, and in the meantime, I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to love my body anyway, and I'm just going to keep going. So that's what I think you should do. That's my 2 cents. Because weight loss is a multi-million-dollar business. And if you want to fall into that trap, which I don't recommend, go right ahead. But I'm telling you, it's called relationship with your own body. That's where it starts. So everybody's different. And everybody has a certain stress level. Stress hormones can make you fat. Okay? So you're all connected. Your body, mind, and spirit. So you have to stay balanced. You have to have a way to manage your stress. You have to have a way to intake natural, good foods that still, they're fun to eat and you enjoy it. You don't want to eat grass every day. So you just get that balance with the foods that you eat. Get that balance with your stress level. Get that balance with your sleep. If any of those things are out of whack, you're going to gain weight because you produce the weight gaining hormones, and you start storing fat because your body thinks it's on, an emergency situation. It goes into a fight or flight thing. It doesn't have to be starvation. I mean, if you start cutting too many calories, yeah, you'll start storing fat for that reason. But if your body thinks it's got some other crisis going on with it, it will store fat for that reason too. So I think the answer here is chill out. Love your body, be okay with your body, and feed it the right things, give it the right exercise, give it the sunshine, laugh, enjoy, relax, do your job, but don't get stressed about it. Realize that there's a whole lot more to life than grinding it out. And if there was ever a time to latch onto that concept, now's the time. Okay? So, I hope that helps. Some other really good pain relieving herbs that you might want to think about would be cayenne pepper, of course. Lavender, it's great for headaches. Peppermint is really good for arthritis. It's also really good for headaches. I keep some in my purse as a roll-on. Rosemary. Rosemary relaxes your smooth muscles. It reduces inflammation. It's good. It dilates your blood vessels. Also, it's good for headaches. It's good for focus. It's good for seizures. It's like a nervine. Eucalyptus is also a really good pain reliever. It's not just for, respiratory things. It's also a good pain reliever. Yoga, acupuncture, acupressure, reflexology, mindfulness meditation, breathing, all of these things are good for pain relief. And I think that it might be a good idea for people to start incorporating more of that into your routines and relying a little less and less on big pharma or even over-the-counter stuff, because it may not be available. I'm just saying. Devil's Claw is also really good for arthritis and like low back pain. Fibromyalgia, ginseng is an adaptogenic that is really good for fibromyalgia. There's a lot of good herbs for that. St. John's wort is good for sciatica. It's also good for neuropathic pain. It's good for arthritis. Valerian is good not only for sleeping, but it's good for muscle spasms and cramps. Get a massage. I've always said, why don't the insurance companies include massage in insurance coverage? That is one of the best proactive ways to stay healthy that you could possibly have. And of course, that is not covered. But still, massage is a really good way to, and that actually will help with weight loss too. Drinking lots of distilled water, because distilled water flushes out the toxins. It flushes out the residual things that lodge in your joints. Eat anti-inflammatory foods. It's good for helping with pain. And if, consider some of those things like the TENS unit that, like, do the little muscle pulses, the little electric TENS units that you can get. You used to be able to get them at Target and pharmacies and Walmart and stuff. I have no idea if you can now, but that would be a nice thing to have, where you could do a localized stimulation, treatment. So there's a lot of ways to address pain. You just have to be willing to not have necessarily immediate results. Like I said, if I have something that's really, really painful, and I've injured myself a few times that it's been pretty bad, I have used kava, and I have also used wild lettuce, and both of those work really, really well for me. So it just depends on, you. But you do have a lot of options. Anything else? Trying to not keep it too long tonight. It's already 10 till 8, so I would like to see if anybody else has any other closing questions or statements. Anything anybody wants to say, and if not, we can say goodbye for this week. I'm glad you guys joined me. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was nice and, something else. I'm here for any kind of questions you've got, but, or anything you want to add. Does anybody have anything they want to add? Something that they're doing that's been working for them. Anna, do you have anything you can add to the group discussion? I know that you work a lot with natural remedies. Anything that might be helpful? Almost all of the things that we've talked about tonight can also be administered to children. You just have to, use a little lesser dose, but that's the nice thing about herbs. They're not toxic. You just have to, get the dose that works for you. So, okay. Well, I think that everybody's quiet now. So I hope that this has been helpful, and I will continue as long as you guys have an interest in meeting on Thursdays. And again, if you have any questions, or if you have anything that you would like me to talk about on Thursdays, please send me an email. Send it to Wendy at crookedhouseherbals.com, or message me on the Crooked House Herbals Facebook. Okay, what does this say? What is the topic for next week? Anna says eating garlic daily and teas are her staples. Good for you. And I know that Anna's very healthy. If any of you, well, you probably don't know who Anna is, but very fun to follow on Facebook, because she has a very joyful life and a wonderful daughter, and she experiments a lot with food. I love watching it. But garlic is a staple. Garlic, antibiotic. It is an immune system booster. It is an antifungal. It is an antiviral. It is a blood purifier. So many things that garlic does. And then if you're a tea drinker, you've got it made. That's why I feel really bad. I love to drink tea. So you can get a lot of good stuff in tea. So, what is the topic for next week? Anybody have any suggestions? I'm open. Anything you would like me to talk about next week? What do you think? If not, I'll have to let you know. I usually kind of let that come to me. I really felt like after some events that took place this last week, I felt like I just wanted to get you guys thinking about, what would I do if I can't get this? Instead of, the toilet paper syndrome, where you're going to run to the store and you're going to stockpile up on all of your favorite meds, maybe think about, do I really need it? Could I get off of it? Could my body function without it? And the answer is yes, it can. You just have to be you have to have the opportunity to do that, because it's like detoxing. It's like going to rehab. Okay? So now is a good time for most of us to do that. Okay, so anybody have any thing they want me to talk about next week? Otherwise, it'll just be my choice, and I will let you know. Watch the Facebook posts. I'll get them out on Monday, and I'll let you know what our topic's going to be. And I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Enjoy it. It's going to rain here the whole freaking time, but that's okay. Plants grow. Love you guys, and I send you many blessings and good health, and I'll see you next week.